Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Whoo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Van, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from August the 8th of 1992. It is a huge, monumental episode. A lot goes down, and we're going to get into that shortly. Can't wait to talk about it all with Doc and Harper, who's supposed to join us as he's running late. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help the show grow. And more importantly, when you subscribe and hit like, leave a comment on the YouTube episode letting us know what you hate or love about it. Mostly love. These algorithms like that type of engagement, pal. On that note, I'm going to throw it to Doc, who is here. We're waiting on Harper. He's supposed to join us. He did confirm via text. What's up, man? How you doing? Living the dream.
Living the dream. 2024 is here for real. We're actually catching up to the people. We're in it. We made it past the holidays, always important to do. We got a text from Harper today, and he actually had ideas about the start time. So some kind of new year, new me is going on there. I don't want to question it because he's not here right now. But yeah, I'm blessed. Ready to be a blessing. I can't wait to see how insufferable you are tonight as we talk about the historic things that went on in this episode. And so I'm sure you're ready to get to it.
Oh, this is phenomenal stuff that goes down on this week's episode. When, you know, if you heard August 8th at the beginning of the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about in WCW if you know the history of WCW. Before we get into all of that, it has been several weeks in podcast time for Doc and I and Harper that we've recorded an actual episode. So got to take care of some business here. First, I want to shout out Mike L, Militant Bobby, Michael K, CW, and JC for either returning as a patron or becoming a new patron. And you too, Michael Angel, before you email me throwing another fit, boss, you re-upped for the year. So thank you, sir. I don't want to get an email and get blasted. So let me say thank you again to you, Michael Angel.
We get enough heat as it is. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But so, okay, we got you. We got you covered. So y'all don't get mad now.
They're not going to get mad. But and then I want to mention shout out to Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, and good old Justin for the generous support on Patreon each and every month and being the largest sponsors of this show. Thank you very much for your generous support. On that note, we are going to conference in Harper. That way he can flip and do some diving because that's what he kind of likes to do. I'm sure he's going to come in with a story or two. Want to bet on that, Doc? $5.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. You never don't bet on it. You'll lose.
That's true. Because then he'll be silent, right? There he is. Superstars in the house. We can't hear you, Harper.
That's fucked up.
Gonna be one of them days.
Mm-hmm.
Plug the headset in.
Oh, hey, all right. I had a muted.
We've only been doing this for 10 years.
Sorry.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Just nothing.
You had a good Christmas and New Year?
Doc's Cowboys won the whole fucking thing.
That we're ready, dude. I talked to the team today, and they assured me that we are ready.
By the time
That's all
this
I gotta
airs,
say.
the Super Bowl will be a week or two away.
Jesus.
All right, well.
Yeah, which one? Next year's?
Okay, so let me address this. It has come to my attention that we have some people that are complaining to Mike about how we run this show.
Well, they should.
No, they shouldn't. And here's why. We've been working through some significant, challenging schedule challenges with some personal issues, some family issues, and trying to keep it going, because we realize that once you start walking around telling everybody that you got to be, we're here, we don't miss, that we ain't gonna miss.
Yeah. Thanks,
But
Mike.
thanks a lot, Mike. I mean, if you could shape up your life, that'd be helpful for everybody.
Right, so we got to play hurt now because we said
Right.
that we're never going to miss a game.
Otherwise, we could have been like some other podcasts that come out twice a year. But anyway, or maybe everybody would have preferred us to just fold up shop and do a long best of episode. That always gets a right swipe. I've already heard this shit once. Now, we're going to record when we're ready to record, and it'll come out when we say it comes out, and it'll have on it who we say will be on it, because it's a struggle of epic proportions to get all three of us in the same room, digital room to begin with. And here's a little preview for next week. Spoiler alert, Harper ain't going to be here next week. Harper didn't even know that when I said it, because he doesn't know that Mike and I have to record on a day where Harper can't make it. But in order to get Harper for you guys at the Clash, he won't be here next week. Go somewhere else next, but not next Tuesday. In real life, you'll be here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
don't. Yeah. So don't. We'll catch up with you later on that. So don't plan any extravagant trips or anything for next week. Hey, man, this shit is real hard to do. So if you're a patron, we really appreciate your patronage. Mike and I, in real time, just recorded something just for y'all. And if you're not and you have opinions, I would say keep them to yourself.
Oh.
This is stemming from, I had people reaching out to me mad that Harper wasn't on some shows.
You see?
And I'm just like, well, next time I'll make sure my wife doesn't have a fairly major surgery and my father-in-law doesn't get terminal cancer.
Wow.
I don't.
I want to complain about my bookings. I'm tired of showing up to these goddamn NBA-sized arenas with my bag and throwing them in the locker room and just walking around here with my thumb up my ass.
Here's the thing. There's two things here. Everyone involved agrees that the show is better when Harper's here. Let's be very clear about that. And Mike and I really understand that it's a different kind of presentation when it's just he and I. So if all things considered equal, we always want to have the superstar over there in the booth. But logistics sometimes makes that an issue.
That's bullshit. I'm going to Conrad.
Well, but here's the thing. That what
Harper can't be serious. He said he's going to Conrad. He can't be serious.
At least you would have some research given to you, and you wouldn't have to do your own. Anyway.
You imagine Harper showing up to Conrad show? Yeah, I didn't watch this shit. I don't know what you want me to do.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
You didn't? Did you read the document I sent you with the research? Read what? For what? Why?
I didn't get that.
This is stupid.
All I know is, do you own and rent your home? Of course you do.
Come
on. This is great.
So here's the thing. If you are supportive of Mike's lifestyle choice, I mean his recent problems, like Harper and I have tried to be, then we appreciate your patience. We love you like always. We appreciate, especially if you're a patron, we're down with you. And if you have that big of a problem with how we run the ship, then
Book it, bitch.
There you go. We don't have to do this. Now, here's the thing. We do have to do it because we don't want to be out there with our families.
Right. We come in here we come in the room that we're doing this in so that we don't have an all-out assault and blitzkrieg on our minds for a couple of hours once a week.
Hey, we're getting closer to real time here, and it will continue to be so, and we'll get trued up at some point, and it'll all make sense, and we'll try to do some patron episodes as that's happening, so that you get a little bit extra for your dollars. And we love everybody. Don't get all upset.
All right, Doc. Anything else before we get into this monumental, wonderful episode of Saturday Night?
Jeez, man, this is a big one.
Hold on one second.
Harper, do you have any clue about what's about to happen here?
Well, yeah. I did mention it to him.
Sting's gonna come down from the rafters.
There you go.
Sting's not coming down from the rafters, but okay.
Yeah, this is when a renegade shows up.
The gig is up to be totally found me.
I'm opening up the video version for just give me a second. It's taking a little longer than normal. We need to get a producer, somebody who really knows how to work shit. Because
we need a free intern.
No, you can't do that.
I've had that discussion before.
That's just wrong when people that's really dirty, man. When the whole people should not be done like that. And you know it.
Valuable experience on the digital platform, and you get to work with 3 superstars.
No.
Yeah,
no.
They get class credit for it, right?
You did it right. You get a UNO student, you're giving back to the community, they get some credits.
Yeah.
They build their portfolio. I don't see what the problem here is.
Build their portfolio. Please shut the fuck up
like
with that talk. All right. Well, let's get into this episode. Like I said, this is a monumental one.
Oh, wait. I got something to bra.
Oh, grab your ankles.
Walmart, dude, and had to take a shit. And I'm in there doing my thing, bro, and I could hear something. I'm thinking, I know I'm the only person in here, right? It's like I could hear water like a toilet flush. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I get out, bro. The floor is just covered in water and literally turds.
When was this?
This was like Friday. And like, you know how when you go to like a public restroom to get that little manhole cover thing that's like a storm drain?
Yeah.
That thing was coming up, bro. And this bunch of shit that looked like a big black snake, like Shaq's dick was coming out the fucking hole, bro. And it was totally backed up, and it was literally turds and shit and toilet paper. I said, I got the fuck out of there. I ain't washed my hands. I was like, exit, exit, exit.
Did you get this poo water on you?
No. It was coming. It was like the blob. It was like, I was like, ah.
So it's like Indiana Jones. You like slid out of the bathroom door before the poop got you?
Yeah, and then I grabbed my hat.
How close were you to the poop?
It was about 3 feet away from me.
Because that's bad for your respiratory system too.
Yeah,
you might need to get a neck brace on and go ask them for some reparations.
I should, And I walked out, and they got the Walmart employees like, the toilets are backing up. And they got one of the managers like, bro, y'all need to check that out. That's in there. And I just watched them walk in, and I was like, your problem. And then imagine some poor bastard wearing a fucking blue vest had to go in there and deal with that.
Man, other people's poop is a real nasty proposition.
Yeah.
And Mike and I have been parents and changed diapers of our offspring, and that shit's gross.
Right. But this was like
people
legit turds, bro. We're just
floating. Where'd they come from?
He said it was backing up.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
toilets
but
were
backing up
backing
out
up.
of the toilet or backing up out of the manhole?
No, from the manhole cover thing.
Well, then
So it
wouldn't it
must
be
have
like
been-
grating cheese or something?
It must have been like this.
Off.
It must have been like the.
Right.
So
It popped
Turdzilla
off.
popped off the grate cup.
Yes. And it looked like, remember when they used to have that fucking Play-Doh toy from the 80s when you would.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you would close it and it would. That's what it looked like coming out.
Oh God.
Yeah, dude. I just got the fuck out of there.
Were you and you were sitting on the toilet when this happened?
Yeah, I was sitting there because I could hear something. I was like, I know I'm the only person in here. The fuck? And then I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe someone came in and I wasn't paying attention. Because I
Yeah, but at that point, are you already mid turd or yourself?
Oh,
or...
I'm done. And I get up and
Okay.
I wipe and I do my thing. And when I step out the stall, that's when this was all presented to me.
Because I would have hated to see you like mid turtle head trying to get your pants up and run out and
yeah, it was bad, bro.
And I would have asked them to like get me like a snack or something for my troubles.
Oh God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And then I'm thinking,
all right.
That's Mike. That's one of your greatest dangers when you work a shit job.
Oh yeah,
literally, is that you're low man on the totem pole to have to clean that crap up when it happens.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
And then what's
Man, I would hear somebody.
Wait, let Harper finish.
Okay.
Go ahead, Harper.
And it was fucked up is these motherfuckers working here all day. So fucking, they turn the water off, right? So where in the fuck are they going to shit and piss? Because they're stuck in that motherfucker all day long. It's not like someone buying a gallon of milk and some Pampers that's in there that they go home. These motherfuckers are stuck in there. So where in the fuck they gonna go piss and shit at now?
And I ate at a Waffle House once with the water main broke, and they're like, "We don't have any water." And I stayed halfway through my meal before I realized how they washing dishes.
They bring out like the fucking Dixie plates.
Where I used to, man, back when you worked in fast food, you'd be always I always had one ear towards something like, oh, the bathroom's clogged, because then I would get as scarce as possible. I'm going to go out and clean the parking lot. Wait, you ain't ever done that. All I had for time to get started on it.
Yeah, no time like the present.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that wonderful story about poop. Mike, August 8th, right?
Yeah, 6 minutes after I was about to start on August the 8th, here we are. Anyway, so this week's episode, it was actually taped July 27th of 92 at Center Stage. This is the second half of the taping from that day. The opener of the show, we see footage from Baltimore, Maryland, from last Sunday, August the 2nd of 92, of Vader versus Simmons. Obviously, more on that shortly. I think we know what is coming as Vader throws rounds at Simmons' head, and Simmons gives it right back to him, which is great. We'll talk more on that in a minute, though. Jim Ross does break the news immediately as they go to him, saying that Ron Simmons defeated Vader for the WCW World Heavyweight Title, and Jake the Snake attacked Sting in Baltimore as well that night, and we'll see footage of Simmons winning the title shortly. From there, Doc, any thoughts on the announcement at the beginning of the show from the Cowboy and JR?
Lots of Bill Watts on the first half of this episode, but I want to know why he's got tinted sunglasses on right now.
Oh, he does.
Did they have those transitions back then?
I don't know
those
what that
transition
means.
lenses, those lenses that.
That would go from from tinted to regular.
Yeah, I mean, they still have them. I mean, it's not like they don't have them at all anymore. But I wonder if they had those back then, because I wonder if that's what we're seeing, and they just haven't completely, the tint hasn't completely gone away.
Okay, well, we're going to see him later in Baltimore, I believe, and he's wearing clear glasses. So I was just wondering.
I bet you that's what it is. He's probably got those transition lenses.
Okay. I have no
Which
idea
are
what that is.
overrated.
I don't need to
You've
know.
never heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they had him back then because I was in high school with a kid that had him, and like he'd go outside and his lenses would darken, and I'm like, he'd come back in and then they'd fade away.
I try not to pay attention to things.
Okay, of course you don't, Mr. Observant on everything. All right, well, let's continue. We're going to get more into everything else that they just announced here. Dustin Rhodes is taking on Mark Canterbury in the first match. We do get a picture-in-picture from Valentine and Slater as the match starts. It's meat and potatoes. Valentine calls he and Slater the original Dream Team, and that's some hellified hyperbole because, as a reminder, this is 1992, so the original Dream Team is beating the living shit out of the rest of the basketball world, I believe, as this airs. So there's that. Doc, let me throw to you. Thoughts on the picture-in-picture of the match?
Well, I'm rewatching The Last Dance with Latrell right now, and just I can echo that. Just as Jordan and the Bulls were slicing through those folks, you see all those people that made up that Dream Team, and it's ridiculous how that team was constructed and just how dominant they were. We got Goldust.
Crazy.
Yeah, you got Goldust versus Godwin here. It was quick. Canterbury has a look, but he ain't getting much. Dustin's over. I don't get Slater and Valentine. They're both tougher than shoe leather, and I like Dick Slater. I know that Valentine was a Mid-Atlantic dude early on, but I just think of him as WWF.
Yeah.
And that's going to become a bigger problem in the fact that in a vacuum, I like everything I like a lot of what's going to happen on this show, but a lot of it feels like WWF light.
On this show?
You got Jake coming in. You got Jesse talking to him. You got Valentine. But that's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. They can't all be
but
winners.
that's all perspective, dog. I mean, 'cause it wasn't like Valentine wasn't in the territories before he was WWF.
I know.
It wasn't like Jake wasn't either. So
yeah,
but I hear you.
The average fucking person watching it is like doesn't think like that.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And I think it's where else they're going to get talent from.
Memphis.
Yeah,
I mean, no,
for much longer.
Yeah, everything's dying at this point.
Right.
All right.
The power plant. It's
Or
the
been-
power
yeah.
plant, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
So Jim Ross, we go to commercial. We come back after Dustin defeats Canterbury, and Jim Ross and Bill Watts are going to throw to footage from Baltimore. And in this footage, they basically explain how we got to where we're going to have Simmons in this title match. So Rude and Nikita are wrestling. Cactus ends up attacking Nikita. Rude hits Nikita with a chair. Sting hits the ring and attacks Rude and Cactus. Sting has Rude pressed over his head for quite a while. The refs are stopping him from throwing Rude, but Sting eventually dumps Rude on Cactus on the outside. The fight continues for a while when Jake Roberts hits the ring and attacks Sting. Jake eventually hits Sting with a DDT on a folding chair because, that would make it that much worse. Look at Sting swing that chair at Cactus. The crowd is into this. They're loving it. It's loud.
The crowd is super into this.
Jake is about to put the snake on Sting. That didn't sound good. Jake is about to put the snake on Sting. But it is what it is. Simmons, the Steiners, and Barry then hit the ring to stop Jake. A lot goes down. I just encapsulated and summarized about 6 minutes of TV time. But the main point of what goes on here is the attack on Sting and the DDT of Sting onto the chair. Doc, while we're still watching it, what thoughts did you have how all this played out? Because I want to go ahead and play this for the video folks. I mean, what we're watching, I don't want to stop it.
Yeah, so you were right. The crowd was super into this. I mean, they were getting it. And it's an ongoing discussion point for us that the crowd's into it. We're entertained, yet this company is being run so terribly. How hard is it? I'm going to ask you two super strong guys. How hard is it to hold somebody over your head that long like Sting did for Rude?
He was starting to lose his strength. You could tell, like, towards the end. He was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Yeah, that was a long fucking time.
In military, pressing anything is tough. I mean, there's a reason you can bench more than you can military press. Your chest is significantly stronger than your shoulders.
Right.
Most people. So, yeah, it was not easy. Even with help. I mean, Rude's posting and helping him. Yeah. But still, your muscles can only handle that for so long.
So here's the thing, man. I said earlier WWF Light, but Jake was a huge name in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a half.
Good.
Yeah, he looks like a half between the Undertaker because he's tall from behind and Alice Cooper out there. Nobody throws the nonchalant DDT better than him, which you would expect. Man, you're going to bring in a top tier star like Jake the Snake to add to what is already a loaded roster. If he can keep his, his mouth off the crack pipe, I say I'm all for it. But I ain't getting that snake. I ain't getting that snake put on me. We're not doing that.
I don't think I'm spoiling anything for most people. Jake's going to be here he's not gone next week, but he checks himself into, I don't know if he checks himself in or did it with friends did it for him, but he checks himself into a rehab facility couple months down the line from this, maybe. I'm trying to remember how far he makes it into, I think he makes it to Halloween Havoc. I think it's sometime in November, maybe. But Jake's gonna be here for a few months. Let me say it like that. But he's gonna just disappear on one episode, and I think I don't think Watts says it. I think Watts says something like he has some personal problems. I'm not sure if he says he checked himself into a rehab center, but it's one of his. Not trying to be funny, many attempts at rehab coming up. But
that's not a joke, Mike.
Yeah.
But he's going to be here for a while, and I think they're going to do some good things. I don't agree with you at being WWF Light. Reason being, my first exposure to Jake was Mid-South. Yes, he's a WWF guy after that, but he was Jake the Snake. I mean, to me, he was Jake Roberts Mid-South, and he was pretty damn good there and vicious there. So
I'm for it, man. I told you, you can never have too much talent.
All right. So from there, I'm going to play this bit of audio. Harper, I knew you just watched it. You didn't hear the audio. Did you have any thoughts on what went down? Sting being injured here, Jake making his.
Barry Windham had a towel or something. What was he doing with the towel?
I don't really know. Because it wasn't like the snake bit him or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what that was about.
Look, Jake, I'll take that DDT, but you keep that fucking snake off me.
Let's listen to Bill Watts. He's going to give an update now on Sting's injury.
And hey, we make fun of Watts, but I thought Watts directed traffic here and kept things afloat pretty well.
Tremendous. Here it is.
Unprovoked attack by Jake the Snake Roberts, in my estimation, was designed to end Sting's career. Luckily, that did not happen.
We are very lucky. When a guy like Sting or any other of our professional athletes are injured, we want to find out just how bad that injury is. And you take the precautions because that was a neck injury. And so you make sure that he's carried out in the proper manner to not add or aggravate or make the injury worse. And I think WCW had handled everything up to that point very well. The officials were on the scene. They were trying to restore order. But there was a wild card in the deck, something nobody could have ever anticipated. Jake the Snake and his appearance. And, of course, Sting is all right comparatively. All pro athletes go with pain. As Bobby Lane, the great Hall of Fame quarterback, said, you got to play with pain in the NFL. In any major sport you go out, an ordinary person can take time off from their job, but an athlete goes, and Sting is back and he's going. But the sad thing is that cost him his rematch with Big Van Vader.
But there would be a championship matchup. We'll show you how that came about right after this timeout.
All right.
Hey, we make fun of a lot of things that aren't airtight, but they just worked real hard to sew up all those loose ends right there. In the coming segment.
This is the type of stuff that Watts is great at.
100%. 100%.
And this is what I was saying, like, when we've talked about it on this show and being critical of him. I'm like, people are going to say, Michael, you're being critical of him. You weren't critical of him in Mid-South. It's because of that little 1 minute right there that you just heard why I wasn't critical of him in Mid-South as much, because we needed more of that from him and not him filibustering on commentary with JR. That's what we need.
Let me explain something. Let me try this. I would argue that what he just did and what he's about to do works in any era. It's the things he tried to do that didn't translate that were the problem.
Well said. So let's play that now, because this, I think, is even better because of the announcement he makes, and it makes total sense. You paid to see a world title match. I can't cheat you. So here it is.
Watts back with you. And as Big Van Vader thought perhaps he may have the night off for the World's Heavyweight Championship because Sting would be unable to compete thanks to Jake the Snake Roberts, Cowboy Bill Watts went to the ring and made a major announcement.
Well, Jim, when I came here, I said the first thing we have to do is rebuild our credibility with our fans. That our fans are the most important aspect of our wrestling business, because they pay their hard-earned money to come, and they deserve to get what they paid for. And they had paid for a world's title bout. So with the situation that happened, I thought it was as fair as we could take it. We had 7 to start with. We had ended up with 8 guys that put their name in the bag, and it was drawn randomly, and it was Ron Simmons. Certainly Harley Race and Big Van Vader have an excuse. Everybody needs an excuse, don't they? When you're a world's champion, that means you're world's champion. You got to be ready to take on anybody and everybody, anywhere. But I'll say one thing. Baltimore, you got it, because we believe that the fans are important, and we gave them the title match.
Fans, let's go back to Baltimore and see exactly how the drawing transpired.
Okay, do you want to watch this part too, Doc? Because I was going to let it play, or do you want to just speak to what he just said?
I think the first part's important. Then when they all come out, you can kind of, because I mean, Watts is earning his check here.
All right, so I'm gonna play this part, and then when they start coming out, we can talk through that.
Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this when they come out now. Van Hammer ain't top 7, but that's a different story.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can talk about that part but that part is just like, what are we doing? All right, I'm gonna play part of it. Doc, if I'm letting it play too long, just yell. All right, that's enough. Here it is.
That's enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a very important announcement, I introduce the Executive Vice President for Wrestling Operations in World Championship Wrestling, Cowboy Bill Watts. I understand there's an important announcement.
Thank you, Gary. You know, I'm sure it'll take some time to get to the bottom of all this. I've been in this business too long to where everything just comes out on the surfaces as it originally looks. However, I want to say one thing to everybody here in Baltimore. You paid to see a world's title match. And by golly, you're going to have one. What we've done, we've got 7 top contenders. And we're going to bring them out here, and we're going to have a drawing. They're going to put their names in this sack, and we're going to have a drawing. We want to get all the names in the sack, and then, Gary, we're going to let you draw. And whoever you draw out of that sack is going to wrestle Big Van Vader for the world's title here tonight. And Gary, we're going to have you make the drawing.
All right, I think that's enough. So some of the guys that are out there, for, you know, if you're watching on the video version, you can see it. But we got Van Hammer, Spivey, Wyndham, Dustin Rhodes, Cactus, Barbarian, Rick Rude. So we got pretty much some heavy hitters with the exception of Van Hammer, and I don't even know if it's Spivey either.
Yeah, that was my thing.
The names go into the paper sack with the child molester that needs his.
Waiting for that.
Yeah, Grizzly is out there with the.
Oh shit! I didn't notice them. Yeah, there he is.
Whoa.
There we go. We got Deep State Harper in the house. That'll work for us. That's okay. You're good. You're good. It sounds great. The names are picked, and of course, this is 30 years ago now. We get Ron Simmons. He's picked. Very deserving. This all makes sense. Any thoughts, Doc?
Again, the only thing that I would have said that would have made it any better, and we're picking nits here, is if Vader comes out and is laughing because he cuts a promo like, I don't have to work tonight. I'm going to head on back to the Mastodon cave, and Jaworski won out. And Watts comes out and says, not so fast, my friend. And had Vader out there pitching a fit while it gets done. But that's a small nit. This was fine. I thought it was really good that Rude comes out and says, now wait a goddamn minute. I'm the U.S. title holder. I should be in that bag. And Watts is like, well, shit, you're right.
Okay, I'll give you that, Vader. That would have been something to see that. Yeah.
The only thing, if I was a kid watching this, I would think, well, who was number 3 then? Or the next, you know?
Yeah.
If the number 1 ranked team can't play, you put in number 2, right?
Would you really think like that though if you were a kid? You probably wouldn't.
If I was Riccaboni sized, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. That little runt was probably 3 years old and watching this, and I know he's listening right now.
Ian was probably 6 or so around this point.
He ain't thinking about who's number 3. He's like, look at all those stars in the ring. One of my heroes is going to get a chance at the title.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you're questioning that.
It's fine. This was fine.
It makes sense, huh? And it's so simple.
It's so simple.
It's so simple. And he sounds like he really means what he's saying, like he's real and not a gimmick. Bill Watts.
That's the good stuff. The Doc said it before we went into the segment. That's the good stuff that Watts could bring.
Yeah.
Like, this is the stuff.
Today, then, now, and forever. How about that?
There you go with the tagline.
All right. The basics are the basics, and they never go out of style. Just like personal issues draw money. He made this thing get airtight real fast, and these people are sitting there because you got to remember the people in the building just watched Sting get destroyed, and they're like, "Well, shit, we came here to see Sting wrestle, so now what the fuck?" And he took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
They took him on a roller coaster ride. I'm gonna revisit that statement in a second after we watch this all.
Ron Simmons on a roller coaster ride, and I knew what was going to happen.
Ron Simmons now has something to say on the mic after being chosen. So I'm gonna play that bit of audio, and then we're gonna fast forward to the highlights and the finish of Simmons versus Vader.
We'll give you some time to get ready, and then you're gonna wrestle Vader for the world's title.
You know how long I've waited for this. If it's going down, let's get it over with.
So Ron Simmons is the lucky man. He's designated to take on Big Van Vader. Billy didn't want to wait. He was ready to get it on right then.
That's right. That's what every athlete should be. You don't have to wait. You don't have to make an appointment a month down the line. You don't have to go, I got to get in shape. You're supposed to be in shape. And I'll say one thing. Harley was griping, but Big Van Vader didn't back off an inch, and he pummeled and punished and made Simmons pay a tremendous price. Simmons had to wonder what he was into. He was tested to the max, and we don't have time for the whole event, but we're going to show you the closing moments. But it was a greatest victory. People in Baltimore were so excited. Our crew was excited, our camera crew, the announcers. I've never seen such an electrifying event. That's wrestling. That's living. That's the way it ought to be.
Fans, let's go see how Ron Simmons made history.
All right, so
they cut said that's living. That's that shit like Shawshank Redemption. If you ain't living, you're dying, bro. This shit's important.
Dude, you know how Harper said a second ago? You can believe it. Like, Watts here is being real. There's nothing fake and phony about the way he says it.
There's nothing that says fake professional wrestling about what he just did.
Yeah, and the other thing...
He said something else real true, too. You're a professional athlete. Be ready. Mm-hmm. It don't take all night.
The thing that got me, too, was Bill Watts sees money in Ron Simmons. So that makes it even that much easier to sell.
Now, you can argue why that is all you want, but we're here.
Right. All right. So I'm going to... Doc, did you have anything from the highlights? I am going to play the audio of about a minute and a half when the finish happens, because I think it's important to catch how that all sounds and goes down.
Man, all I want you to do is, as it's happening, watch the brother on the front row on the hard cam side in blue.
Dude.
In blue.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this kid a million times.
Here it is. Let's watch it if you're on Patreon and listen if you're hearing the audio. By the way, you can be a patron at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT if you want to watch it with us. Here it is.
Heavyweight champion in control here. Vader's bomb. This would be all. And Simmons able to kick out. Going for a waist lock. And Vader's got him up. Boy, went over his back. Good agility by Simmons. And Simmons, he got him in a power slam. He got him in a power slam. We got it. Simmons got it. Simmons has won the match. Simmons is a champion. Simmons has won the world title.
Listen to that crowd.
WCW World Heavyweight Champion,
Ron Simmons, the new heavyweight champion of the world. This crowd has been electrified.
Dude, they're going nuts.
Mm-hmm. They do seem to be happy.
Like, you know what I love about this? They made it a big deal. Okay, you don't have to be an asshole. They made it a big deal. It comes off as a big deal. It's all great. Dusty eventually comes in the ring. He hugs Ron. I mean, this is how you do it.
And I always liked it when the babyface won a title that everybody came down to celebrate with him.
Yeah. I'm thinking, fuck, he don't have any black friends?
What?
Well, I mean...
Why is Van Hammer... But you know he don't hang out with Van Hammer, bro. Virginia smoking ass.
Come on. I mean, Harper.
I know.
You know...
It just looks like...
Hey, we're in the business of good and evil, not in black and white.
Okay.
Give me a top black baby face besides Ron Simmons right now.
Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
Ranger Ross.
That's why. I mean, unless you want to send. Hold on. I don't know, but they should have said. Wait.
Come on.
Can you? Hold on. I got one for y'all. Can you imagine Harper's comment if they would have sent Johnny B. Bad out there?
Come on.
That would have been great.
That
was JYD? Where was Bruno?
Well, that was going to be my comment. JYD is around. We're going to see him shortly. JYD is not out there. Now, I'd have to look. I don't know if he was on the card that night. I think he was, to be honest with you, but I'd have to look. I can't remember. But, I mean, you act like there's a million black baby faces that they could send out there to celebrate with him, Harper.
There should be.
They should be, goddammit. About time we have some change around here.
You can see, why are you being an ass? Seriously?
Here we are trying to celebrate history, and you've got Harper being a clown.
Yeah, well, you too.
What did I do?
But they should have sent Johnny B. Bad out there so Harper could have made some ridiculous comment.
What?
All right. Well, nothing. You just would have been like, oh, look, it's good they sent another brother out there to celebrate with Ron.
For real. Somebody.
Johnny B. Bad is not.
Ron Simmons is not shooting the shit with Van Hammer, bro.
Well, we know that. All right.
Yeah,
let's
but there's
continue.
people that like Mike that are saying, I can't believe Mike deals with those 2 crackers every week. So, I mean, you never know.
That's true.
Let's continue. Ron Simmons is going to cut a promo. He is with Tony Schiavone. Here it is.
This is quite a moment. Standing with the new World Heavyweight Champion, Ron Simmons. Ron, it was quite a match. And you talked about your dream. You and I, not too long ago, talked about your dream to become World Heavyweight Champion, finally realizing the dream.
Tony, this has been something that I've dreamed about since I've been involved in this sport. I think this has been the best moment of my life, was when I won this heavyweight title belt. I can't explain, I can't tell the people, I can't tell you what a feeling it is. And it still hasn't sank in yet. But I do know this. I am standing here holding this belt, so it must be true.
You know, people talk so much about the luck of the draw. You got the draw that night. Maybe it was the luck of the draw, but certainly that match was one that you really earned.
It's just like everyone that dropped their ticket in that hat, it's like a lottery. It's just a 1 in a billion chance that it would happen. And when my opportunity came, I was just praying that I was prepared for it, and I was. I took advantage of it, and here I stand, the heavyweight champion of the world.
Talking about preparation and being a great football player that you were, now the preparation is to defend the World Heavyweight title, and certainly Big Van Vader, the former World Heavyweight Champion, has the rematch, I'm sure.
Well, listen, the man had the belt around his waist. He knows what it feels like. I now know what it feels like. And in order for him to get this back, Tony, I promise you he will have to drain every drop of blood out of my body, because this has been something, this is a dream for every man in this sport to stand here now and be the world's heavyweight champion. Hey, I can't put it in words, man. This is just emotion. I am telling you, this is a dream come true, and I am very proud to be standing here representing the people as the heavyweight champion.
Very sincere comments from Ron Simmons, but one thing about it, he can't rest on his laurels. The rematch has already been signed with Big Van Vader.
With the intensity in the WCW, nobody can rest on their laurels. But you're right. The champion or ex-champion has a mandatory rematch. That's going to be a war, because you got Harley Race, and he will be focused, on Ron Simmons. I want to say one other thing, Jim. We have a lot of investigating to do about this incident and the attack on Sting. We're not through with it, but I'll guarantee you one thing. We know of the first battle that's upcoming will be Ron Simmons against Big Van Vader.
Fans, later in the program, Jesse the Body Ventura will be speaking with Jake the Snake Roberts. We'll have that and more right after this timeout.
All right, so real quick.
So,
Doc.
can I do something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, a couple things I liked. Nowhere did we mention that Ron was black, which is awesome, because it made him seem bigger than just a black champion. He's the champion. He's everybody's champion. He said this is a model for all wrestlers, not people that look like me. So I like that piece a lot. In my role in DEI work.
Why are you being? See,
people,
you can't. You just worked. Here's what you just did. You triggered both sides that don't realize it's a joke, and you knew what you were doing, and that's why you did it.
They didn't put training wheels on him by making him be the black champion. He's the champion, and that's important. Now, the other thing here, and let's put this picture in the frame, is that we've elevated Ron Simmons to world champion. You've got an angry ass Vader. You split off Sting, who's now hurt and needs vengeance, with a Jake the Snake, who is a main event talent. And oh, by the way, we still got Rick Rude and Arn Anderson and Steve Austin and all these other wildly talented people over here. And you did it in a way that was airtight. And we still can't draw any money.
Yeah, it sucks, huh?
I don't know, man. Watts is making cuts, so he can. That might be why we can't draw any money. It's all going to Watts. I'm being funny at the same time. I'm just trying to make a joke, y'all. Being serious, but whatever. Okay, so Watts says they need to investigate what happened to Sting. Here's something interesting. I did look up something. Sting wrestled Vader. He wrestled Vader, where was it? August 7th, 1992. So this was taped. This is airing in the 8th, but he did wrestle him. So they did wrestle a few times. Sting did, that is what I'm saying. So, like Sting did get some matches with Vader. I don't want it to make it seem like there was nothing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, for now, Ron is going to have to, at some point, give Vader a rematch, but there's that. I'm with Doc. Harper, you got any thoughts? This was airtight to me.
Yeah, this was, it's simple.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard?
Where's the sound drop? Ain't that hot, guys? Building a rocket.
And your cock keys.
Cock keys.
My cock it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we go from we've been talking about that for probably about 30 minutes. We go from some greatness right there with Simmons and everything that went down to things might slow down on the card a little bit here tonight. Dan Spivey is taking on.
This is where they let us up a bit.
Yeah, they really gonna let us up. Dan Spivey takes on Randy Stallings. Spivey makes some comments about going after Simmons' title, which I just can't take serious.
Man. The guy looks like a big baby, huh?
Well, I'm glad you said that. What are your thoughts on this Randy Stallings fellow?
Looks like a big baby. Like he's like like he looks like he's 8.
My thought was that I would like to see his driver's license to make sure he's old enough to be in that ring.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I can't add anything to it. I don't know how to describe him. He's a funny looking fella.
Yeah, he's rather young, huh?
He's frumpy looking to me. With that bowl haircut. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Anyway, Spivey is obviously going to win, Doc. Any thoughts?
Not really.
Yeah, me either. It just... But, you got a 2-hour show. You got to fill it with something, right?
Got to do something, man.
Yeah. Well, coming out of that match, we go to commercial and come back, and here's where I really got angry, and I need y'all to bear with me because I got some detailed notes from this. So you got the Big Cat, Mr. Hughes, and the Junkyard Dog, who are a tag team versus Chris Sullivan and James Moats, a couple of enhancement talents. So Mr. Hughes is now the Big Cat again. They're teaming him up with JYD, and they put him in like matching red tights. In the previous match, JR on commentary mentioned it's the team of the Cat and Dog. And I'm just thinking to myself, this company, after what we just saw, this company, this is a Watts thing. And I'm not trying to say that Mr. Hughes in the dress pants, shirt and tie, suspenders was the next WCW World Champion. But this is really what you want to do with this man. You want to put him with a washed up JYD to tag with. So, there's a double lariat and then the Big Cat drops an elbow on Moats and JYD and Hughes win. This is dumb. And I really feel bad for Mr. Hughes. He deserves so much better than this. And when we listened to Mr. Hughes talk on Briscoe and Bradshaw, he pretty much said this was whatever in the end of him in WCW. They just did some weird, stupid stuff. Also with these two. So here's Doc. I kind of threw this out at you, and this is what I want to read now from the history of WWE.com to you. So they did some really weird stuff during the Great American Bash tour with these two in July, where on July 1st of 92 in Macon, Georgia, Dustin Rhodes pinned Greg Valentine, but after the match, Dustin was attacked by Terry Taylor and Mr. Hughes until Junkyard Dog made the save. JYD broke Hughes's glasses during the brawl following a headbutt, and Hughes was taken out on a stretcher because he got quote unquote glass in his eye. Then on July 6th in Center Stage during a WCW Pro taping that aired only 7 days before this, JYD defeated Vinny Vegas via DQ when DDP interfered. Mr. Hughes made the save for JYD, and he and Hughes hugged. So they set up these two to be a team when just a few weeks earlier, they got into a brawl and JYD headbutt him, and he quote unquote had glass in his eye and was stretchered out. This is how dumb and weak the booking was of these two during this era.
Can I say something?
And it's a waste of Hughes. Yes, please.
Well, I don't disagree with the booking, but they did give a promo a few weeks ago where JYD talked about that and said he was beating up Hughes until the man's eye almost got knocked out, and he has a family, so he's got to respect that, and he felt bad about it. So they did something. I'm not saying it was good.
So Mr. Hughes, upon having his eye damage,
I'm not defending it, bro. I'm not.
No. I know you're not.
Poor Mr. Hughes.
I know you're not defending it, but to the point you made, I'm glad you brought that up because we did talk about that. So to the point you made, Mr. Hughes just forgives JYD and is now going to be tag team partners with him in the Cat Dog Express.
They did something. I didn't say it was the right something.
No, I'm with you. It's just
this is bad, bro.
Do you remember when the Big Cat came in and how we were like, we don't like this, it's dumb, right. And then they made him Mr. Hughes, and we were like, oh my God, this dude is a bumping machine.
Mm-hmm.
He's fantastic. Well, let's just rip the cape off of him and put him back in this gimmick.
And Harper, if you think that's bad, wait till what's next.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, this is bad. Well, Van Hammer, Heavy Metal Van Hammer, is taking on literally our friend who's now gone, Tracy Smothers. So we go from bad to worse, and we're going to put Tracy Smothers out there to put over Van Hammer.
This J. Brown.
This
Whatever
show
happened
went
to the other guitar dude? The Southern, something Southern.
Are you talking about Rick Boogs?
Whatever his name was.
No, he's talking about JT Southern.
I know.
Everything was airtight, brother. That's what happened.
He
was with Raven.
Cinderella?
No, he was with Raven.
Harper said he got signed with Cinderella. All right.
Whatever, bro.
Hammer hits the Hammer Rock suplex.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jimmy.
I
got an idea.
I have notes for you. I have notes for you, Doc, about Tracy when you say Tracy's close. So, wrong guy won, obviously, when Hammer wins. And I don't remember if we talked about this shirt or not. I feel like we did, but I don't know. Tracy's last match in WCW is going to be August the 25th in Dothan, Alabama. It is a worldwide taping. It won't air until September 19th. That match is Johnny B. Bad and Marcus Alexander Bagwell defeating Tracy Smothers and Bob Cook when Bob Cook was pinned. So he is just a couple weeks away at this point of being done in terms of working. The match will air on the 19th of September. So maybe we should just go do Smoky Mountain and talk about Tracy there, right?
Okay. Somebody needs to cover that promotion.
Any thoughts on this match besides Tracy getting screwed here?
No.
You know how hard it is to watch this and knowing how good Tracy is and how bad Van Hammer is, and to think this dude had to put this guy over.
I'm aware of how hard it was to watch this match.
Did it get any sort of fast forward from you at all?
Here's my exact notes. Poor Tracy, get to SMW fast, FF.
All right. Well, we'll continue then. In the next match, Greg Valentine and Dick Slater versus the Italian Stallion and Ian Weston. We get another picture-in-picture promo from Slater and Valentine. This time they're talking about Dustin Rhodes. So this is the moment in the show where I was like, wait, that picture-in-picture earlier when Dustin Rhodes was having a match, they should have aired this picture-in-picture then, and they should have aired the Dream Team one here. Not that it really mattered in the grand scheme of things, but that's what I thought as they played this picture-in-picture here with him talking about Dustin. Other than that, I got no notes on the match. They're going to win.
Somebody called Italian Stallion the world spaghetti eating champion. I'm not sure if it was the announcer or Jim Ross.
I didn't have that note, but that's real classy.
I like the idea of Valentine and Slater, but God, they need something to do.
Yeah, for real, huh?
Something, and this ain't it.
Right.
Like, yeah, this ain't it. Well, they win, and that's all I got.
Okay.
From there, I guess things get a little bit better because this promo from Jake Roberts is something. And
boy, it is.
We need to play it and discuss it. Here's Jake Roberts.
WCW Saturday Night, Jim Ross back with you. At this point in time, I'd like for you to listen to some comments made earlier this week with Jesse the Body Ventura and Jake the Snake Roberts. Why did Jake the Snake Roberts return to WCW? More importantly, why did he assault the Stinger? Perhaps Jesse the Body Ventura could get to the bottom of this situation. This is a very, very unique conversation. Listen very closely.
You know, everybody thinks and everybody knows that Jesse the Body Ventura is slightly partial towards reptiles. And we all know that the holiday season generally comes in the winter time. But not so for Jesse the Body this time. The holiday has arrived in the middle of the red-hot summer. And the holiday to me is the arrival of one of my favorite reptiles, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Very kind words, Jesse. You know, I'm getting a lot of flack. Everybody wants to point a finger and say, why could you do that? How did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you get Cactus Jack involved? Well, let me tell you this. Nobody points a finger at the brave hunter that goes out and sits in a deer stand, drops a little salt around the tree. Then when the dumb deer comes prancing up there, he points that gun right down there and blows his brains out. Nobody points a finger at him. And that's all I've done. I baited a hook so the fish would chew, and that's exactly what he did. He looked good, though, didn't he? He came down there and just kicked up on everybody, gonna be a star. Let me tell you something. The reason I did this is because when I was brought into this world, there were people standing over me just like you stand over the children today and telling them that they can get a shot at life. All they got to do is say their prayers, eat their vitamins, and train and be a good little boy. Well, that man that stood over me was my father. Thanks a lot, Dad. You didn't tell the kids you got to fight for every bit of it, did you? You want to stand there and let them follow you down this little garden path, man, to where? Tell the kids in L.A. it's a free world, it's easy. Tell the kids in the ghettos it's easy, Sting. It's your cross to bear. When I hung that cross over you, Sting, I'm telling you it's yours to bear. You walk with it a while. I'm tired. I'm tired of standing up trying to do the right thing because there is no right thing. The right thing to do in life, and you well know it, is survival.
You know what I loved about it? I love the tears. I love the crying of all the little stingers out there. They're crying and they're complaining because Jake the Snake has arrived. And Sting, you felt the brunt of it. And I don't think, Sting, you're ever going to survive from this one because you've never met a reptile like this man.
I will do anything and everything. Expect the unexpected from the snake. Why do I wear this glove? For my own protection. These days you need protection, man. Whether it's a gun in a pocket or whatever it takes, you got to be protected at all times. Sting, you just had a little taste, and believe me, brother, I've got a thirst that cannot be quenched and a hunger that will not be satisfied. I am going to make your life one living hell.
I hope you're watching out there, Sting, because the message is crystal clear to you, and it's coming down in the form of a snake.
And Jake Roberts might have been a colossal screw-up, but god damn, that was a promo and a half.
That was fucking beautiful. Play it again.
No, but that might be the best thing that's ever aired on this show that won't win the Rolex.
How great. When he said nobody points a finger at the brave hunter when he blows the deer's brains out, I baited the hook so the fish would chew. He's like, I mean, like, damn, he painted a hell of a picture.
Yeah.
Dude, when he started talking about Hulk Hogan's tagline and then thanks Dad, when Dad's an agent in the bruh.
And he spit. That's the thing. He's like, thanks, Dad. And he spits. And then like, that's even more impactful now because, like, we know the story than it was then. So we're probably giving it even more credit. But that was phenomenal.
He spit fire on that. And here's the thing. What do? I mean, this is like Flair and Steamboat on steroids where one guy can talk and he can talk and Sting can't.
Yeah. Sting can't go promo for promo with Jake. Nah, it ain't even close.
I've got a what is it, a thirst that's unquenchable and an appetite that's insatiable or something?
Yeah.
Jesus. He said there is no right thing.
I'm tired of standing up and trying to I'm tired of standing up and trying to do the right thing in life. There is no right thing. The right thing is survival.
You carry it.
Jesus.
Talking about he referenced the riot in LA.
You're right. That might be the best promo that doesn't get a Rolex. So we went we had a hell of a story right there. They took us on a roller coaster ride with Simmons. We come down off of that in some blah nonsense. And then we get Jake cutting a just phenomenal promo.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we go to Barbarian versus Tommy Angel. And Barbarian pretty much beats Tommy Angel pretty quickly. Gives him a big boot. Doc, did you have anything from it?
Only that Tommy Angel must have a court date coming up because he got that mullet cut off and he looks like a grown-up.
I thought he looked different.
Yeah, like a school teacher.
Yeah, that's right. He got the shoot job. Said, "Look, you need to cut that shit on the back."
We then go to Terry Gordy, Dr. Death, and Paulie Dangerously. Did you have anything from it, Doc?
I don't like this. I think it's goofy. I like everybody involved with this, but it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know what they were looking to accomplish. Dr. Death says something when we come back from Japan. We don't want the Steiners around. He's making it, they're talking about going to Japan and he wants the Steiners done. And Paul Lee threatens to beat the Steiners out of WCW.
I guess the Dangerous Alliance is gone.
No, they're technically they're not going. They're the end of the day. It's weird. They're going to go on for months. They're still going to be called the Dangerous Alliance, but there's not, to me, from what I remember, it's not like an emphasis on the Dangerous Alliance. But Paulie is still the leader. Like, there's not the formal breakup. I mean, Larry Zbyszko is gone, but the quote unquote like entire formal breakup to the Dangerous Alliance is not happening around this time.
So
Paulie eventually is going to get into it with Rick Rude and Medusa, but
Dr. Death and Terry Bam Bam Gordy aren't part of the Dangerous Alliance, right?
They're paying some money so that Arn and Bobby can help take out the Steiners.
Oh, they're okay.
That's why Doc said it's goofy.
You're like mercenaries or whatever.
Kinda, and that's why Doc is saying this is goofy.
Okay.
All right. From there, the main event of the show that we go to next is going to be Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton versus Larry Zbyszko and Brian Pillman. The top rope rule has been waived for this match. Jim Ross even says, call the hotline and let us know if you want the top rope rule rescinded, which as soon as I heard that, I'm like, yeah, call the hotline. They'll charge it. They'll change it after they charge a few thousand people $2.99 a minute. I love the corniness.
Come spend your money so you can call up and tell us that we should get rid of this. When nowadays they would just blow up their social media.
Right. kind of makes the hotline seem cool.
Yeah.
Bro, imagine if every time you tweeted your favorite wrestling organization back then, they charged you $1.99.
I wouldn't have social media.
Right.
I could barely tolerate it now for free.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Bruh,
All right, Doc. Go ahead, Harper.
How many people you think would still pay if it was like a subscription service like Netflix or Hulu to be on Facebook or Instagram?
I can't answer that because I can't get into that mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say this. When you say how many people would pay, I think it really depends how much. Because I could see for people running a business, because so much is linked towards social media. If you run a business, like I wouldn't expect Wildcat to say, screw it, we can't do this, we're not going to have our Facebook page, when there's 15,000 people on there that follow it.
Yeah.
Like in our Facebook page, it's got like 35,000 people that follow it. So
God
like,
damn. We're growing,
I wouldn't. So this is my point. I think as a person, just for personal reasons, I don't know if no. But for business reasons, if you have a legitimate business reason, then I could see you wanting, plus you can expense it as a business. Like, it's a business expense. And I could see that. But then it would be how much? Because if somebody was like, well, it's going to be $19.99, I'd be like, well, you can $19.99 your ass down the street. But if you say $3.99, $4.99, like I could, I could see that as a business expense.
But I still wouldn't pay that.
Because like Twitter, for you to have, not for you to have business Twitter, but for you to have a business verified account on Twitter, it's $1,000 a month.
Wait, what?
You heard me right.
$1,000
if you want these businesses, they don't have a blue check, they have a gold one. That means you have a business. It is $1,000 a month to have a business verified account on Twitter.
So what's the point of doing that?
Well, because you don't want people like fraudulently pretending to be your business.
Oh, so like someone else can't just start a booking a territory Twitter. It's
they
saying
could.
that it's Mike Mills.
Right.
Okay.
In no way. So I'm with Doc. I'm not paying for nothing. But I do see how, for business reasons, you might want to have an account on Facebook. Yeah. Like, it just makes sense. Like I said, I wouldn't expect Wildcat. Heck, I wouldn't want to shut down the BTT one. I mean, it's got 35,000 people on it. No. So I don't think I could just not have it. But again, it depends on money too, because Doc, I'm a cheap bastard. We're all three are cheap. I'm not spending a lot of money on that. Nope.
Yeah,
ain't happening.
I'm cheap and I got shit to do.
Yeah, social media reminds me of the floor Harper saw turds floating on earlier.
Oh boy.
All right, Doc. So here we go. Main event. Arn, Bobby, Larry versus Larry Zbyszko and Brian Pillman. They give him a lot of time to kind of work, tell a story. Larry's in there, so they're gonna lay on the mat a little bit in this thing. They work Larry Zbyszko's shoulder and arm for the bulk of the match.
Yeah.
I mean the bulk of it. They were Larry, I guess, was working about a minute tonight, but he was out there trying to put in some time, even though he laid on the mat a lot. But what did you have from it?
I didn't watch this match and think Pillman is small or too small.
It's because he's not.
Yeah. These guys get super sweaty. It's August in the South. I was interested in watching Larry and Arn get after it. And then we get something that normally doesn't happen. We have a match that ends in the commercial break.
You want to describe that?
Well, we come back from the commercial break and they're like, well, we said we'd keep the tape rolling, and we did, and the match is over, so let's show you what happened.
Yeah, after working Larry Zbyszko's shoulder and arm for the bulk of the match, Jim Ross comes back for commercial, and they show Eaton dropping a knee on Larry's arm as Arn held it, and the ref stopped the match. So during the commercial break, the ref stopped it. In fairness, the ref stopped the match. So, I mean, it's kind of like
was broken.
Yeah, but and they do show it. Like, let's be clear, they show a replay of it.
Yeah.
But it is weird that they just didn't do it, right?
That looked badass.
But the thing of it is that you knew Arn and Bobby had to win. Otherwise, the segment before with Gordy and Williams doesn't make any sense. Even less sense.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about it. Larry Zbyszko never gets his comeuppance.
No.
From the Dangerous Alliance. He's just put out to the pasture, and that's that. Last thing we're going to do before we get out of here as far as the review portion of the show is we got Vader and Harley Race. Jim Ross is wrapping things up, and then he throws to a promo from them. Here that is. It's pretty quick. Here we go. Here we go.
I told the world, and I'm telling you again, I'm telling you, Bill Watts, there was highway robbery. It's like going into New York City expecting to play the Yankees, and then the Dodgers show up. There's something crazy about all of this.
No! Vader's making no excuses, Ron Simmons. You are the heavyweight world champion, but Vader, he fears no man and he feels no pain. Ron Simmons, you were an All-American. Vader was an All-American. You started this war, and now Vader is going to end it, brother. I'm coming after you. I want it back. I want it back around my waist. Come and get me, Ron. I'm standing right here.
Let me tell you something else, Simmons. You started this war, and this man right here is going to end it. We're not going to stop short like they did in the Gulf War.
It isn't over.
Some very strong comments from Big Van Vader.
And that's kind of how JR is going to wrap up the show, but that's kind of how they go off air on that note. So that was a good comment by Vader. You know, we thought we were playing the Yankees, and we ended up playing the Dodgers. Fair enough, or what?
Yeah.
I didn't like what he said. Come and get me, Ron. Ron doesn't have to do shit. He's the champ.
That's true too. That's a good point. All right. On that note, we're gonna hand out the Toot Toot Award, and we'll rate this episode. Before we do so, I want to remind you the only way to listen to all of our Patreon content is by going to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Be like the cool kids and become a patron and get all that extra gold that's out there on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Over 400 plus Patreon exclusive shows are waiting in the wings for you there. Tales from the Territories episodes, Dark Side of the Ring, all of the WCW pay-per-views and clashes that we've done to this date. We've got a Clash 20 coming up in a couple of weeks that will be airing, so that'll only be available on Patreon. That was a very memorable one. Lots of stuff available. The NWA Power shows with Sparks and the Little Fella Half Pint. ECW shows with Mike Prue, JV, and Rick Beebe are available there on Patreon. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, the best way to support this show. Doc, we're going to rate it. And let's rate it really quickly because there's something I need to play for y'all tonight before you get out of here. And I know you got to wrap up soon. What are you going to rate this one?
I'm going to give it an A.
Just an A. Okay.
Van Hammer beat Tracy, brother.
Yeah.
Well, say no more. Harper, your thoughts?
I'll give this an A. We saw Ron Simmons win the whole damn thing. Unexpectedly.
Right.
No one saw this coming.
How could you?
No one saw this coming.
You couldn't have.
I mean, look at those people's reaction.
Dude,
When they walked into that fucking arena, they had no idea they were going to see this.
They went nuts, and it was phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm with you. I think I have to definitely give it an A. I mean, Ron Simmons won the title, and it was a surprise. But even though it was a surprise, it made perfect sense. Sting was injured. He couldn't fight. Bill Watts tells a hell of a story. Says, no, you paid for a world title match. You're going to get a world title match. Here it is. It all made sense. So I'm with you. Ron Simmons. I'm sorry. It gets an A. Toot Toot Award. This feels easy. Ron Simmons?
Yeah, Bill Watts was in the consideration. Jake was in the consideration, but Ron Simmons made history.
Any other episode, Jake Roberts' promo gets it.
Oh yeah,
100%.
dude. Yeah, bro.
That's in the top percentile of promos we've ever discussed on this show.
What about jip jiving and socializing?
Jip jiving and socializing. Yeah, that'd get it too.
You think that's probably the best promo we've seen since the Crockett days, you think, huh?
I mean, Rick's had some good ones when,
Crockett
days ended, and Double A had some. I mean, we've seen some good ones. I'll never forget Ole when he first came back and they were like baby faces, him and Arn, and they're in like their barbecue attire, like they're going to a barbecue or something, and Ole says, "We're gonna do somebody in," and it's like, dude, you're a baby face, but you're gonna do somebody in. I don't know. There's just stuff like that we've heard that was phenomenal as well. But I do have to say, like, that promo is just so damn good. So damn good. All right. On that note, this wraps up the review portion of the show. Doc, before we get out of here, you've got to hear this.
Is this why you haven't been returning text and messages lately? As you've been you've been out there covering events and getting some audio?
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I was privy to a very entertaining conversation that is not real between AI Jim Ross and AI Bill Watts. Now, our wonderful, faithful supporters on Patreon are well aware of this because they heard this drop on Patreon in the recent weeks or about a month ago from this airing. But this is phenomenal. Like, these two had this conversation, AI Bill Watts and AI JR, and it was just great stuff. So here it is.
Bill, I appreciate everything you did to help me out in my career.
I hear a butt coming from you, JR.
Yeah, Bill, here's the thing. Did you always have to be a complete asshole and prick?
I'm the asshole and prick. I'm the one who made JYD, a black man, my babyface star in my territory. I'm also the one who put the WCW World Heavyweight Title on Ron Simmons right after I took over in WCW. You tell me how I am an asshole.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Bill. The fact that you made a black man your top star and that you made a black man world champion has nothing to do with you being an overbearing prick when on commentary with me in 1992 and 1993.
Sounds to me like you're an ungrateful little shit, JR. Maybe you should praise me for putting over two black men as my top stars and stop crying like a little bitch because you felt I was overbearing on commentary.
Bill, will you shut the fuck up and stop blowing yourself about how you and only you put over black men as your top stars? I'm having a different conversation about your micromanagement and tyrannical management style, and all you want to do is blow yourself about putting over black men. Meanwhile, you're a racist prick.
I'm a racist? I put over Simmons and JYD.
We get it, Bill. You found Jesus and you think you're perfect. You want to read me some scripture that helps you deal with your problematic issues you have as a flawed human being?
As a matter of fact, I do. Let me go to John 16:33. In the world you will have tribulation, but take.
Oh, will you shut the fuck up? I heard what you said about the book in the territory, guys. You want to thump your Bible because it makes you feel good, but in the same breath you said fuck Mills, fuck Harper, and fuck Doc.
You've turned into a rude little shit, JR. I actually said fuck Crockett and fuck Mills.
So you do admit to cussing those fine Christian athletes and podcasters? You know Harper is actually a Catholic white boy from Metairie. That's a first for you. You admitted to using cuss words.
I didn't admit to shit, JR. I was on Steve Austin's podcast, and he asked me about that podcast, and I gave my honest fucking opinion.
Speaking of honest opinions, I have honestly wanted to tell you my opinion of you for many years. Frankly, you're an asshole, and I agree with Doc, Harper, and Mike when they call your booking out.
You agree with who, JR?
I agree with Doc, Harper, and Mike from Booking the Territory. They were very fair but critical of your early booking in WCW in July and August of 1992. And unlike you, those guys aren't raging fucking assholes.
What the fuck ever. I don't care. The fact of the matter is I made JYD my top star, and I put the strap on Simmons.
You know, Bill, you'd be a great politician. You deflect and avoid like the best of them.
Why are you bringing up politics, JR? I thought Booking the Territory was a politics-free zone.
So you do listen to Booking the Territory?
Fuck you, JR. Now let me finish my scripture line that your little ass should live your life by. John 16:33 says,
I don't give a shit what John 16 or 33 says. Admit that you listen to Booking the Territory and that you know what Grizzly did.
You're really testing my patience now, JR. Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and this conversation is over. Oh, and one more thing. Fuck Harper, fuck Mills, fuck that woke bitch Doc, and fuck Crockett, too.
All right. Thoughts on Bill Watts' opinion of it?
I fear for the future of humanity. On the upside, I have a feeling that we're not too far off from having AI Harper do the show with you and me so that we don't have to wait for him.
I don't know. It's not as easy as it may seem.
Okay.
In real time.
That was certainly something.
You would have to know what you're going to ask Harper ahead of time.
I don't know that ever.
And then you'd have to plug it in and generate the audio and then drop it into the shows.
No. Okay, never mind.
But trust me, the thought has crossed my mind.
Okay.
Do you type all that in, or does the AI just come up with that?
The robots, dude.
I'm not at liberty to discuss that at this moment in time. I can.
Motherfucker! I know who's behind it.
Machine learning.
It's fucking Lance, isn't it?
Why do you always attack
because
Lance?
He's pissed off because they didn't have Chris Von Erich in the fucking movie. And
That's
right.
right.
That's just what he does. What a
generative AI, machine learning. We're all doomed.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, we hope you enjoyed AI Bill Watts and AI Jim Ross tonight and their conversation. You can hear more of things like that on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. We've been privy to another one of their conversations that will be available on Patreon. Just sign up, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Doc, any thoughts before we get out of here?
Let's go home.
All right, Harper, hit the tagline. Let's roll.
Look it, bitch.